If you're a mom, do you ever dream of your children? Okay, dads too. Of course you do, and maybe pretty frequently. But did you know that these dreams are the most common dream theme for mothers? And that the divine insight they can bring is worth decoding and discovering. If you're new to this channel, I've helped dreamers make sense of their dreams worldwide for a couple of decades. And today, in honor of Mother's Day, I'm going to continue to talk specifically to moms and dads. This time highlighting two decoding methods to identify what our children in prophetic dreams may be telling us. Again, dreams from God are generally parabolic because that's God's default language. Symbolism. Sometimes we forget that since we tend to think literally. Plus, dream interpretation is somewhat new to many of us. So, like other dream elements, our children in dreams are generally symbolic. Now, of the 12 decoding methods for people in dreams that I've discovered, only several of them tend to apply to our children. Let me remind you of the first decoding method for making sense of our children in prophetic dreams. If you watch the most common prophetic dream theme for mothers, you'll remember that this first method is connected to the fact that our children can symbolize something we have birthed. And you'll recall that we birth things through our words, deeds, prayers, and even within our minds. I want to also mention here that this is the most common decoding method for our children in dreams. Your children in dreams will symbolize something you've birthed several times for every one time another decoding method will be needed. But that doesn't mean the other methods aren't important, because you'll need to have those in your toolbox as well. And we'll get to those for Father's Day. So that's all I'm going to say here about the first decoding method, because watching that video fills in the blanks. But before I can get to the main focus for today, the second decoding method, I need to address some questions looming over that first method. Kids symbolizing something we've birthed. Once we've wrapped our heads around how we start or birth things, we're left to identify what is it that we've started. So what have you birthed? A new job application? A new weekly commitment? A new friendship or roommate? A promise to someone? Consider all the possibilities, because your child in your dream might be symbolizing what you've birthed, either recently or not recently at all. All right, so let's get to the second method, the main focus for today. Now, the second method is not the most likely. In fact, it's probably the least likely, but it's simple, so I'll slip it in here. It goes to the meaning of the first name of your child. The essence of it is that the meaning of your child's name may be what the child in your dream is symbolizing. Did you know that names generally carry meanings? If you have a son named John, or a daughter named Anne or Hannah, you might want to know that those names mean gracious, the grace of God, or God is gracious. So if your child has one of those names, for instance, the dream may be telling you that the grace of God is present or called for in the situation the dream is addressing. Sometimes we receive grace from God when He gives us what we don't deserve. And in those cases, the dream might be saying that a gift of some kind is coming our way. And sometimes We're called to give the gift of grace to another person. And that's not so hard, but it may take a little humility. What if your child's name is Joseph, Joe, or Jose? That might indicate that God will increase or add to something, because that's what those names mean, increase. What about Eric? This boy might symbolize God himself, because Eric means eternal ruler, most mighty. Sonia means wise. Trent means a torrent of rain. Valerie means strong. Get the idea? Name meaning is probably the most common decoding method for people in general. And on occasion, name meaning symbolism can apply to one of our own kids in a dream. Okay, that's the second method. Not the most common for your own kids, but it can happen. There's a lot more to cover on decoding your kids in dreams, especially if you have multiple kids. So again, for Father's Day, I plan to bring you 2 more ways of decoding those kids in your dreams, the ones who play leading or secondary roles in those prophetic dreams. Until then, love your children, love your mom, every blessing, and live beyond your wildest dreams.